I said, hey, why doesn't Techstar move to Utah? Like, we should have a Utah office. This would be awesome. There's so much going on over in Utah. He was like, Utah will never be a startup ecosystem.
Yeah, I know. Hey, thanks for coming on the show. This is cool. It's good to talk to you. It's
There's
good to
history.
see you.
There's history here. I love
We've
it.
had a lot of history, particularly in Provo, where we are right now.
That's right.
We've had some history, and you're like one of the OGs of this community. I mean, I remember.
I'll
like,
take it. That's a badge of honor.
What was it, like 2011 we were trying to do stuff? I mean, it was
Absolutely.
a while. It was a long time ago.
2009 is when I started Launch, and yeah, so it had to have been right around there, 10,
Yeah.
11.
Is that LaunchLeads? Was that your first company? See, I even remember your company, dude. So how long did you run LaunchLeads?
So it started in 2009, and bootstrapped it, no funding, no idea what the heck I was doing, period.
That's cool.
And 3 years of struggle to try and figure it all out. Luckily it ended up working, which is crazy that a business can work when you start it from nothing and figure it out.
Yeah.
You've been there. In 2014, hired a CEO to run the business day to day. And so I was able to step away from like going into the office because then I started the venture-backed Outro.
Yeah.
.com. And so then that CEO ran it for about almost 6 years, and he wanted to buy it. And it made sense for me. So 2020 ended up selling LaunchLeads, and it had just been cash flowing the whole time. It was a profitable business.
Yeah.
And,
So what was LaunchLeads? What was the? I don't know that.
the old school biz. It was an outsourced sales company. We helped a bunch of the tech firms set up appointments.
Cool.
Not really, not that cool, but it worked.
No, it did sound way boring. I was like, appointments. Shit, that's it?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. But you know what? You don't have to have a sexy business to make money.
No, that business is incredible, actually. Like, I can see why it was cash flow positive and did so well. That's a hard thing to do.
Yep.
It actually is hard, the sales piece of this. Anybody who can help with sales is a big deal.
So that was like my first half of career was all enterprise sales type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where I built, my reputation was around there. But in 2014, started Outro, went through the Techstars program in Boulder.
Didn't it? I think I was at the startup weekend where you were working on something.
Oh, yes.
Is that like the genesis of Outro?
Yes, we called it Quota Deck that weekend.
Quota Deck, I remember that.
And I actually went to this Google Startup Weekend as just to mentor and advise. Somebody had asked me to come.
Yeah.
And then when they made the announcement, anybody can make a pitch. Anybody. And I was like, well, I've kind of had this idea. I mean, maybe. And then we won. And I was like, oh, crap. That means I have to build it right now over this weekend.
Yeah.
And so, I got assigned a team and we cranked on it for 2 days straight. And it felt like people loved it enough that we're like, oh my gosh, maybe we should actually do this. And the timing had worked out pretty amazingly because I had hired somebody within that time frame to kind of take things over.
Yeah.
So we went for it.
Yeah. What's interesting about Startup Weekend is you kind of like just meet your people there. Like, you just kind of.
You don't come.
Did you
with
even know Did you know everybody who joined your team?
I had known one guy who was in the audience. It was a friend of mine because I said, "Hey, you should come. This is a fun event." So he came and he ended up joining my team, and then everyone else I met there.
Yeah.
That weekend. So I had no idea who anybody was, and it was great. You just work as a team. Normally, I don't think things actually happen after that.
Yeah.
And I do believe, if any of those team members from Startup Weekend in 2014 are listening, there may have been some hurt feelings when I actually did go and start it.
Oh, really?
But didn't ask them to join
the
real company.
Well, it's a real thing all of a sudden, right? Like Startup Weekend's a weekend.
It's just a weekend. It's fun and it's exciting.
Right? And then if you decide to do something out of it, that actually would be kind of interesting. You went through an interesting experience there. Like, you're like, I'm actually going to build a company out of this. Like, who's in with me? And you want to choose your team and all that type of stuff. And some of them actually wanted to be in. Is that what you're saying? Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Because if you think about it, you're coming to this Startup Weekend. And I don't even know if they do these anymore. Do they do?
I have no idea. I assume they do.
If they don't, we should. Because it was a blast.
Fun.
And it's like the environment, the energy, and whoever wanted to become an entrepreneur, you can pretend that weekend, and who knows, maybe something comes out of it. But I even remember one of them, super good guy who's now doing other entrepreneurial ventures himself, which is great. We got on like the KSL News show for our thing.
Yeah.
And so he was there with me. But anyway, I ended up just kind of pursuing it on my own and then bringing on a co-founder and things later and raise venture capital. And
why'd you change it to Outro versus Quota Deck?
the business, when you go to Techstars, their hope is one, for you to raise money and to find the right, MVP for what you can do to take to market. So they want you to, and so we essentially changed, the business model did change from Startup Weekend through Techstars, and outro.com we were able to get for a steal, and it was short and sweet. You could spell it.
Actually, I don't even know what that company did. What is that company?
It was a referral automation platform.
Okay.
So before LinkedIn squashed everyone on the API, we were able to gather everyone's LinkedIn contact info. So you, all of your followers, all of my followers, and upload them into a database. And if you wanted to be introduced to, let's say, the CEOs or investors that I know personally, you would type in the form and say, hey, I'm looking for CEOs or investors of XYZ demographic.
Yeah.
And it would scour the entire database's algorithm or, contact database. But then since you and I know each other, it would ping me and say, hey, Clint would love to talk to these 10 people. Are you okay? It was a double opt-in introduction. Are you okay to make the introduction? And it was like this reciprocity piece of, absolutely, I'd introduce you to these 5. I probably don't know the other 5 well enough. Anyway, I ended up bringing on Dave Oldham, who's kind of another OG in the space. And so he became co-founder, another technical co-founder we brought on. Anyway, we learned so much along the way. And
I'm sure.
Short story, 2 years, blood, sweat, and tears. We shut it down.
Yeah, that's a hard business. In fact, that sounds
LinkedIn
like...
didn't love us.
I'm sure. I'm sure the LinkedIn...
Hey, we generated revenue. We had $250K in cash in revenue. Not from, we had funding, but we generated real revenue from companies like Domo, from Pluralsight, from, real things.
Interesting.
So it was weird because there's a unique, for entrepreneurs who are listening, we had a false positive. Because most companies, you never get revenue. It's really hard to get revenue. That's the hardest thing to do. That was almost the easiest part for us to get, was to get revenue.
Interesting.
But we had a hard time fulfilling what they were paying for, which were those introductions.
And LinkedIn probably cuts you off at some point.
Yeah, so they ended up cutting us off, and having that API access where people could download their contacts was not as easy as it used to be. And then it was interesting psychology to learn. There's a book, old book, called Predictably Irrational. I highly recommend it if you're ever trying to deal with people and user experience and how people think, because humans are predictably irrational in our thought process and whatever. And we had the hardest time trying to figure out why people wouldn't make introductions as freely as others.
Interesting.
And so there's a whole psychology around that. We don't need to spend time on it, but
yeah.
So that was devastating. So I'll be honest, if I were to explain my entrepreneurial career in a short story, first business was at BYU, student entrepreneur. I joined, it wasn't my own business. I joined another team. I put $5,000 of my parents' money in.
That's cool.
I got a loan.
That's big time.
Oh, it was huge.
That's
because I had $0. I put my parents' money in. I'm sure they knew they would never get it back.
Right.
So they were just being supportive.
You owe them $5,000 is what you just told us.
Right.
Yeah.
2 years after, running that, it was a chair company called Seatability.
Really?
Do you remember this?
No.
Okay. So what's fun is there were 6 of us. All 6 of those entrepreneurs are doing other entrepreneurial ventures now.
Oh, that's cool.
Every one of them. And we were all student entrepreneurs. Anyway, that $5,000, I sold my ownership after 2 years. I got $50,000 back.
Oh, cool.
Now, they couldn't pay me the full $50,000 because they didn't have that much cash in the bank. So they gave me $25K in cash and $25K in product. So I had a lot of chairs.
So what were these chairs? What was it so unique about them?
They were bungee chairs. They literally have bungee cords on them. So dude, I'm not even
What
kidding.
are you talking about?
Do you remember the old school Corporate Alliance building?
I do. Yeah,
they had
over there by the
these
golf
chairs.
course?
Yes.
Yeah.
You would sit in these chairs that literally, they were flat bungees we had the exclusive rights to distribute in the United States. They were from Taiwan. We thought we were pretty fancy. Noah's Event Center, before their debacle, they had like hundreds of our chairs for their events.
Interesting.
And then we'd sell them online and all over the country and had distribution and everything set up.
I forgot about Noah's Event Center.
Yeah, I know. I don't even know. There's a long story, I think, there.
Yeah, I forgot about them because that was a really, really cool space.
I think it still exists, but
still
I don't know who's doing what.
I don't know.
So anyway, I sold my ownership. I ended up getting essentially 10x my value out of it, which is
cool.
unheard of. Well, not unheard of. It's rare for a student entrepreneur to have that. And even though it was a small amount, to me it was life changing.
Yeah, for sure.
I paid my parents back.
Oh, so you don't
plus
know them.
interest.
Nice.
And
well done.
Helped me to pay off like student loan. I bought my wife's wedding ring with it. I knew that I'd spend it on stupid stuff. So I was like, you know what? It was 2007. I need to go buy a home. Because in 2007, that's what you do. You go buy a home.
That's exactly what you did in 2007.
So I ended up, we weren't even married yet, engaged. And I go and buy this townhome in Salt Lake. And I'm sure she's just now since said, like, that was a little weird that you were buying a home for us to then get, like, what if we didn't get married? What are we going to do? Anyway, we ended up living there, and then the crash happened. And unfortunately, that business, those guys ended up going bankrupt. I feel so bad because I dodged that bullet. Crazy.
That's crazy. So then you do LaunchLeads?
Then 2009, I basically said to my wife, I said, look, would you support me if I were to try to start a company? I had gone through this incubator called Junto Partners.
Oh yeah, Greg Warnock,
Alan Hall.
Yeah, they need to bring that back.
They do, and I know they've tried to do iterations of it.
Yeah.
But as a young entrepreneur, I was 24. It was life changing.
Yeah.
Like, they gave me the cojones to actually start a company.
By the way, Greg's a genius. So is Alan Hall.
Oh, both geniuses.
Both are just, but yeah, like
it was a lot of effort and time.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Now those guys, it was an 8-week program. They told me or told us then that there was 200 plus applications. They took 20, and then at the end of the 8-week program, they picked 5 as like the winners, almost apprentice-like, TV format. So I ended up being one of the 5. And it really did give me this confidence of like, oh my gosh, maybe I could do this. They had this whole workbook of how to begin, what to look for, how to ideate, and like all of this stuff that was at the time for me mind-blowing, because I didn't even know what an entrepreneur was technically before the chair company. So after that, I told my wife, hey, I think I want to start something. I just have a job right now. I was a recruiter for New Day Financial.
You were great at that.
I did not do it very long. So I started this company because I felt like, all right, what am I going to start? I have 0 skills. I have almost 0 life experience. I had served an LDS mission in Brazil. So I kind of knew how to sell things. And religion's tough to sell.
I mean, that's the toughest one of all, actually.
Pretty tough one. So, and I had run some sales teams, like inside sales teams. And so I was like, well, geez, that's the only skill I have. Maybe I can start a company around a little bit of this expertise. And so Launch Sales and Marketing is what it was called, began as an outsourced sales company. And the thought was, if I could get paid and not be hired, but get paid as like my own entity to do the same thing I was being hired for, then I'm kind of like a free man.
Yeah.
And so I got paid to essentially do inside sales for somebody else.
Yeah.
And then they referred me to their friend's company, said, he's killing it. You should hire him. Well, so then I hired a neighbor and was like, well, hey, neighbor, can you do this? And so I trained the neighbor, and then he started working for the other company. And then they referred me to another because we did so well. And every time I got a new company, I'd increase my price.
Yeah.
And so this is how I bootstrapped it. I didn't have any money.
Like, what was the theory behind I'm going to raise my price every time I get a new? Was it just like
to test the market? What will the market bear?
Let's go for it.
And so literally, I started at $4,000 a month was my price for a full-time person.
That's actually good.
As a 25-year-old that had never had really any working experience, not bad.
Yeah.
So then I hired my friend, and then I hired my next friend. I hired my old college roommate. I was married now, and just each company, and we went from 4,000 to 4,500 to then 5 and went to 8. Got it up to 8, and then we tried to go higher and we couldn't. So we found kind of the cap. And my wife was so cool. She was like, "Look, we have no kids. I want to work." So she was working, and she said, "But I want to be able to go. I want to have the flexibility. If I choose, I want to be able to go home when we have our first kid.
Mm-hmm.
And so she said, go for it, do this business. But if you can't support our family by the time I go home, she wasn't pregnant at the time.
Yeah.
Then you have to quit and get a job.
Okay. That's a lot of pressure.
It was the pressure I needed. It was the fire lit under my seat that was like, okay, I better figure this out. I didn't take a single paycheck that entire year, but guess what? My wife got pregnant 3 months later. So at that year mark, I had to take my first paycheck. Yeah. And it was still spotty for like 2 years. It would I'd get a check and then maybe wouldn't get the next one because I had to make payroll. Mm-hmm. And you always get at least at the time, I would always take the last thing and give everybody else first.
Yeah.
So it was sketchy. But that's when my wife started her blog.
Yeah. By the way,
fun, cheap, or free.
Your wife's so much more famous than you are.
She's so much cooler than I am.
I don't even think I could get your wife on the show. I don't. That's how cool she is. It's crazy.
She just has a better ability of saying no.
Yeah. I don't even dare reach out to her because that's how big she is. She's just this huge figure.
She is doing good things.
So she launches Fun, Cheap, or Free.
Yeah, just a blog.
And what did she launch on Blogger?
It was just our family blog at the time. It was called Reading the Pages, as just literally because last name Page.
Yeah.
Just for fun. But then she started getting hits and comments from people she didn't know. She's like, this is weird. This is kind of creepy. Why are people reading? And she was blogging about our frugal lifestyle. I was making no money. She was a stay-at-home mom now. Mm-hmm. I'm this poor entrepreneur trying to figure it out. And so she would just write hey, we found this free thing you should all go do.
Mm-hmm.
And so she came to me. I was like, hey, can I at least put Google Analytics on your blog? Can we? And come to find out she had a couple 100,000 people viewing her blog.
Wow.
She had no idea. So I was like, so can I put AdSense on there? Because then you can actually make money doing this. She's like, I don't want to make any money at all because then it'll feel like a job. I'm like, yeah, but you're spending a lot of time.
Yeah.
You should be compensated for your effort and time. So she's like, okay, fine. And so she started making money immediately with this blog. And she changed the name, which she still doesn't like to this day. Fun, Cheaper, Free.
Why does she like it?
At the time, it was just you need a website. Yeah. What do you do? I don't know. What am I going to write about? I'm going to write about fun, cheap, and free things to do. Okay, great. Just pick that. It's available.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
And now, it's hilarious because we'll have our neighbors that walk by and oh yeah, you do the fun, cheap, and easy. Are you the free, cheap, and easy lady? And she's like, please don't say that. I don't want that reputation.
So she does that. And it starts immediately taking off.
Yeah.
Once you put analytics and AdSense, AdSense was making good money back then, wasn't it? Yeah, that was
better
a thing.
than now.
Yeah, that was a good thing. And then you hire a CEO.
Yeah.
And what do you do after you kind of exit LaunchLeads?
Yeah, so I immediately started Outro. That was literally.
Oh yeah, I mean exit Outro. Yeah. So
then when we had to shut down, and oh man, talk about devastation. So I don't think I don't really want to bring up the word privileged. That's probably not the right word. I have lived a charmed life, let's say. Mm-hmm. I feel like things have just worked out for the most part. That I call it a failure of a business, right? It didn't work out. Was absolute devastation for me. I had twisted my own self into that business to where that I felt like I was the business, and if the business failed, then I'm a personal failure. And I never knew what depression was or anxiety. I never knew and had experienced anything like that. And life, although yes, I had life challenges, it didn't seem to faze me, but this did. Mm-hmm. And I was out for the count for 6 months. And
really?
And it was wacky. It caused issues in our marriage. It caused issues with relationships. It caused my own confidence levels completely shot. And I don't think people talk about it enough, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Failures, although I think you learn more with your failures than you do your successes, the trauma that can really be a part of your life.
Yeah, failure's not the goal. We kind of got this interesting in the startup and tech community for a while. I don't know that it's still failure's a good thing. Just go out. And it's nah, it's not really a good thing. It's not really the goal. If you can avoid it, you should.
Yes, you can look back at it and say, wow, I know why. Yeah. And I can see how much I've learned and grown.
Yeah.
But it's not fun.
No way.
But I do look back now and I can say it was necessary. Like it had to happen. And, we can go into the spiritual reasons of maybe why I think and believe that that's the case. But, Dave Oldham and I still talk to this day and say, somebody's going to do it. Somebody's going to do that business and they're going to make it work and it's going to pan out. Maybe we were just 10 years ahead of our time.
If you think about it, Zoom Info is a version of that. And Zoom Info is an enormous company.
Enormous, gigantic.
Right, they have all that data and it's not exactly the, a warm introduction, but,
right. But they have the data.
They have all the data.
Yeah. So, it's interesting. So going through that transition of life, I really had to think about like, who am I? Am I only an entrepreneur? And is that my only form of reputation? And also my life goals changed, which was interesting. As a young gun, I say young gun like I'm old. I don't feel old, but I think now people look at me and they're like, oh yeah, he's old. He's old. 8 kids old. But anyway, so, I felt like I wanted to have a gigantic company and be on the cover of magazines and win all the awards. And, I had a decade of doing those things. And I remember like thinking of myself as, yeah, this is awesome. I'm doing what I'm supposed to because of all these signals. And after Outro shut down, my whole concept of what I wanted in life changed. And
How so?
I just felt like it was an awakening. Let's just call it an awakening or a rebirth.
Yeah.
And from both like a personal standpoint, dealing with some mental health issues, and from a spiritual standpoint of like, okay, where am I? Who am I? What is this world? What am I doing alive? Why am I on the planet? What's like way bigger than just business.
Yeah, very existential, dude.
And I was blessed at the time to still have that other company, LaunchLeads, paying a salary. So our family was taking, that's a humongous silver lining and blessing we still had a paycheck that took care of everything, but I didn't have to go to work. So it was like a semi-retired state. I was the chairman, but anyway. So, I don't know how I would have done it if I didn't have that. I probably would have just fallen deeper and deeper into the depths of despair.
Yeah.
But having that ability to like take a chill pill for a minute and just like calm and collect, started exercising more, started volunteering at a temple service, church service type thing. And just like spend time with family, really with the kids, as sometimes you're hustling so hardcore with your business, to the detriment of sometimes family members or even relationships that you have. Yeah. And anyone who's been in the entrepreneurial world, that happens. It just happens. And so without very proactive efforts, you may end up in a place you don't want to end up.
For sure.
Years down the road and not knowing that you were just 1 degree off, and that caused deeper problems. And so I just tried to like lay out this foundation of who am I really, what am I doing, and hey, I don't know if this is kosher on. I can't even say
it's
that word.
Kosher.
That's political.
Yeah. You can't say kosher?
I don't know. Is that like?
I have no idea.
I'm trying to be politically correct here.
No, I said it. You made me say it. No,
I'm a bad influence. But like, anyway, I'm trying to keep this story short. But spiritually, I was awakened to believe in myself again as a son of God, and like, you know what? Yeah. I am way more than just a business. I am more than just. What I was, and I don't even want to be that person anymore. Do I still love entrepreneurship? Absolutely, and I still want to be in that world, but that's not like stamped who I am, right? Mm-hmm. Like I'm way more than that, and everyone is more than whatever they do for a living,
sure,
work-wise.
Which is hard to.
It's hard.
It's hard to realize that.
Well, that's what we do for most of the day.
It becomes our identity.
Yeah.
We both know people where it's literally their identity. Like all the success in the world, and if they're not the CEO of a company, they're lost.
Yeah. And I get it.
Yeah.
I get it, and no judgment. Like.
Yeah.
But there is. I don't think so here's my reason where I look back and say, hey, the company didn't pan out. There's obviously business reasons and LinkedIn APIs and all this stuff, like logistical reasons. For me, personal reasons, it was a wake-up call. It was like, hey, you're going down a path where you're treating everything and anything like business, and you've forgotten what's most important in life. And, whatever higher power is out there, wanted to shake it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And say, you might want to look around and wake up. And I truly can now look back and say, okay, I feel that. And I'm so grateful for it, because now I feel like, not like my life is some magical fairy tale.
Yeah. It seems like it. It definitely seems like it is.
I live a great life. There's no question about that. I live a great life, and there's no complaining whatsoever, because there's 99.9%, I guess, of worst case scenarios.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people deal with challenges that most don't see.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure.
And so, yes, my wife always quotes the country song. It's something like, "I'm way cooler online."
The Brad Paisley song.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Something, I'm messing up the lyrics, but what you see online, and we do have a public facing side of us because of my wife and what she does, and I felt like compelled to participate. I was somewhat forced into it because of what my wife was doing, but I felt compelled to participate because I saw there's a possibility of doing good.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, okay, I can see the negative that comes around having a public facing life. But if I have to sacrifice certain privacies and certain maybe life choices because of that, but I can impact for good in certain ways, maybe that's one of my callings.
Yeah.
And it felt like a higher purpose. And so I lose followers every time I post about God or Jesus. I love Jesus.
Who cares?
But I don't care. Yeah. So, but it's like, you know what? I'm going to continue to post what I believe and what I feel, and so should everyone else. Yeah. Everyone can do that. But I've just felt strongly that that's maybe a higher purpose that I need to be participating in.
So
and do good.
What would you put, like, so you're going through this 6 months of like hell, right? Yeah. Like this, like, who am I? Am I good enough? All the questions that you ask, like, after something like that happens, which is not a small thing, right? Like, because it was a really popular company here, by the way, too. And you were a really popular entrepreneur in the community, right? And, you'd gotten into Boulder, Techstars, and I think you were one of the first Utah companies to do that. Yeah. Like, all of that was like a really big deal. And then, it ends the way it ends. How do you get out of that funk at the end of the 6 months? What was I know now it's like, hey, I got the light switch, here's why. But was there a moment? Was there something that happened?
Yeah, it was interesting. I wish I could say it was like these 3 principles. Yeah. So that everybody can write them down and say, all right, I'll do these 3 principles. And maybe I'll get back to that. But it was interesting because my wife was in the process of continuing to grow her social following and wanted to build out products. And she saw me kind of going through this phase, and we kind of discussed about working together. And I didn't have an idea of what I wanted to do next. I didn't feel like I wanted to go out and get a job at the time. Financially, luckily, we didn't need me to do that. And so I ended up starting. And basically, her thing was she didn't like the business side. She really loved the creative and the social and the creating products. And she was the brains behind everything. She's
like one of the original Utah influencers.
Yeah, she's one of the OGs. Yeah, she's an OG on that front, and she is. What's amazing, she hates the word influencer. She's truly an entrepreneur, through and through entrepreneur. I don't even think she realized how much of an entrepreneur she was.
Oh, it's not kosher to say influencer. See what I did there?
Well, no.
I put 2 things in there.
No, everyone uses it, and I think it's totally fine to use it. She just doesn't like to be called an influencer.
Yeah. Well, that's hard. Like, how you're influencing people, that's a lot of responsibility.
It is. It's a lot of responsibility.
That feels like... you're almost like a prophet or something, like.
Yeah, it's been an interesting go. But long story short, we end up working together for a few years. Okay. And I just take on the business side of it. I stay kind of in the background and help her hire and build systems and processes and technologies and all that stuff. And she scales and she builds lots of products, and she's helping tens of thousands and literally millions and millions of views on YouTube. And then it was a little over a year ago where she was like, I don't think I want to continue growing as much. and that's what I was doing, helping. And so it was time for me to move on. And also working together as husband and wife, there are some who are trying to do that. There are incredible blessings about working together as husband and wife, and extreme difficulties of working together as husband and wife.
Who won the business arguments?
Oh, it was her business. So,
Yeah.
So I bowed out.
At the end of the day, it's just like...
It was her business, so I was just advising and saying, here's my opinion. But that was hard. That was so hard because, heck, I'd been a CEO for a decade, right?
Yeah.
But it was her business, so I had to know that up front to I would give my advice, but hey.
Yeah.
But it was really hard.
You would speak at these events and with her and stuff. You became a little bit a part of it, at least as a public figure, and people know who both of you are from that stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
But then a year ago, you decide fun, cheap, or free. We don't want to keep growing it. Just kind of keep it the same, or
it was getting really busy and more work than she was maybe hoping for. More meetings and people and all the businessy stuff that she doesn't love. She loves her people, her audience. Yeah. She loves connecting with them.
Freebs, aren't they called
the
Freebs?
Freebs, yeah. And she just loves connecting with them and helping them.
Yeah.
And so that's why she's created these programs and these, budgetbootcamp.com and productivitybootcamp.com. And she's got these planners that go along with those boot camps, and she's helped, and now she has kids and teen planners to help them kind of get more organized and be more productive. And now she's got a cookbook, shelfcooking.com. And it's this whole lifestyle change of cooking with the items you have in your pantry instead of going to the store to buy everything, and how to exchange. Anyway, she's built this incredible community, and she loves connecting with them. All the businessy stuff she didn't love as much, and she didn't need it. And so it was time. And from a marriage standpoint, it was time. It was time. It was either the business or our marriage. And we thought, let's keep the marriage as best we can.
One of those is more important than the other.
Yeah. So, and I think it's important to know, we're pro therapy. Yeah. I'll put that out there. We are pro therapy. And having marriage therapy, even if you think everything's awesome, do a check-in every quarter, once a year or two. It's great to be able to have help from a third party that can see outside and help you deal through different emotions. And as we're married 16 years now, and it's you change as humans, and it's good to be able to walk through that change and have somebody who maybe can guide you through that as a couple. So we definitely have had our fair share, and it's been so good, and yet we still have so much that we can do to even be better. But from that experience, being able to come out and do my own thing, it was healthier for me too.
Yeah.
Because I did stay more in the background, and which was totally fine. I didn't need anything from that standpoint, but my confidence level still struggled from years in the past of that failure.
Interesting.
Even though I did feel valued, and I felt like I was absolutely contributing, there was still something missing. And we could feel it, but we didn't exactly know what it was. So when it came down to what are you going to do? I, again, took time off. Again, blessed to be in a position to do that. Took time off and then figured, okay, here's my Venn diagram. Who do I want to spend time with? What do I have skills and talents and assets in? And where does that meet in the middle? And that's when Influence Ventures came around.
Yeah, tell me about Influence Ventures.
So, and I need you to help me name it.
Yeah.
Because I know I have the domain influenceventures.co. I couldn't get the .com. Dang it. I hate that. But I have influence.vc.
There it is.
That's it, right?
I would use that.
What else do I have? Influencevc.com.
You should do influence.vc.
Influence.vc, that's it. Huh?
That's the one.
Okay.
Yeah, you
that was
got
quick.
It. Yeah, you got it.
I love it.
Yeah, the .vcs are cool.
Is it cool, right?
Yeah.
So here's the only caveat. It is not a venture capital fund.
Okay.
It's a venture capital syndicate. And it's not saying that I'll never do a fund at some point, but as of right now, the culture of a fund, in my opinion, if those who've been around venture capital, you give me all your money, not all your money, but you give me lots of money in a big pile, and then you trust that I'm going to go write checks to 20 or so companies that you have no say over. You're just going to trust that I'm going to pick the 20, and then if I do well, you'll probably want to invest with me again later.
Yeah.
And it's been a model done forever.
Yeah.
The syndication model, for me personally in my lifestyle, it's a deal by deal structure.
Yeah, it's still a venture fund. It's just deal by deal.
It's deal by deal. So I don't raise a big lump.
Yeah.
So the con is that for every deal, and here's the thing, I'm reviewing like a couple hundred deals almost every month. I'm getting through it. The deal flow is insane right now. It is insane.
All Utah?
No. Through Techstars connections, through Y Combinator
I see.
connections, through I grew up in San Francisco, so all my San Francisco connections, through the Utah community, I mentor UVU and BYU students. And so, and then being around here for 20 plus years, right? Just deal flow is insane. And so luckily I don't lead any deals. I just follow along somebody else because they can do a better due diligence on the deal. But then I bring what people would say like a strategic investment value. So I'm not just a check, and my syndicate, my group of investors, basically it's just my friends and my network.
Sure.
My caveat is I won't do a deal unless I'm personally going to write a check. And if I'm personally sold and super stoked about the idea, then of course I'm going to tell my friends about it. And be like, guys, I'm all in. This is awesome. I'm writing a check. If you want in, you can. You don't have to. And I love the culture of the investor being sold on that deal.
Yeah.
Each deal. And they get behind it. And some people will do some deals, some people won't do other deals. Whereas a fund, you just give them and you hope you like all their deals.
Yeah.
So I do like that syndication. It just sucks that you have to go out and you have to go like collect cash every time. That's the bummer.
But do you use AngelList or what do you use to do that?
No, I've used a local company called Savvy Legal.
Really?
Shout out.
They do that. I had no idea.
They help with syndications. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Very
So
cool.
like
Yeah.
a
Shout out
syndicate
Savvy Legal.
Yeah. Local.
Because
Utah.
AngelList is hard because they take your investors too. Like the people who are a part of your syndicate, all of a sudden they're also on AngelList and can invest in anybody else's syndicate. Yeah. And it becomes the whole thing. AngelList is a brilliant idea.
Brilliant.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm an LP in AngelList things myself. So an LP for those watching, a limited partner. I'm an investor in other deals. So anyway, I do currently, maybe this will change, but currently Influence.vc
I think you landed on it right there.
is a syndicate investment arm. And then the key thesis around it is my first decade of experience was more in that enterprise sales and world. The last, decade, let's say, of the career is with social media influencers. And so it's an interesting skill set that not many VCs have. So I felt like there was some differentiation in expertise. There's lots of enterprise salespeople here in Utah, especially. And yes, there are lots of influencers, but there's less investors, entrepreneurs who have been in the influencer space and know how it works from both the business side and an influence.
Well, Utah, in my opinion, is like influencer capital of the world.
Mecca.
Right? It's like
Mecca.
And it is interesting to have someone like you who can help them build businesses out of the influence. Like
so let me clarify.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not saying that you're investing in influencers, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that is an interesting thing and an opportunity, I think, in the state of Utah, where these influencers, it's not completely obvious how you make money doing it. You just to start, you get all these followers, and then you gotta like build a product and stuff.
Yeah, so it's an interesting game, and I feel like so why people bring these VCs like Pelion or Kickstarter or Comic, they bring me in on deals and say, Bubba, will you join this round? We've pretty much oversubscribed, but we'd love to give you some allocation in this deal, and if I believe that they could scale rapidly through influencers, then that's my thesis. So whether that's LinkedIn influencers and it's a B2B tech product, great. That's fine. We can use influencers in those spaces, leverage that to help grow. If it's a consumer tech product, then absolutely do a consumer tech, because we can leverage influencers to do that. If it's a consumer physical product, we can do that too. So the umbrella of what we can invest in is quite large. And because it's a syndication, I don't have to stick to that perfect thesis, because the investors only invest on a deal-by-deal basis. If they don't like a deal, they don't have to do it.
And by the way, like Kickstarter or Pelion, they're doing a lot of due diligence.
Tons.
Like you following in there and getting that allocation is actually pretty sweet. That's pretty incredible.
I can stay lean and mean.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Let them do their work.
Because the due diligence there is like, I mean, that's a huge signal if one of those firms is going to invest in a company. That's great. For the
Hence,
company.
not leading. So an entrepreneur can come to me and be like, I'm raising capital. I'll be like, sweet. I think your business is great. Go find a lead investor. And I know it sounds like a cop-out for sometimes you hear that from an investor, right? Go find a lead investor, and then they never invest in the first place. But truly, go find somebody who's willing to back you, and then Influence.vc can come in.
VC.
Anyway, so yes, with the piece about influencers, so we bring in the strategic value of how to work with influencers, connections to influencers, and then my goal that I haven't done a good job with yet is I want to educate influencers on what equity means. Why should they be investing? A lot of these influencers can make great money, but I don't think they've come around to understand like what a cap table is or what does venture capital mean. And if I'm investing, do I just give it all to a financial advisor, or should I be looking at alternative investments like venture capital?
And by the way, your wife's exactly right. They're entrepreneurs. Like
Absolutely.
We call them influencers, but they really are entrepreneurs. And man, can they make money? Of course, like Mr. Beast is starting his own like venture fund, and like he launches his own products and stuff. Like that's a whole thing unto itself. And I think you're going to see a lot more influencers kind of realize the power they have, because at some point you got to realize like every brand is coming to me, wanting me to sell their thing, and it works because they pay me, so it must be working. Why don't I just do my own? Like, why don't I just cut that out?
So either take and build your own product, or let me just take a piece of whatever company that wants to pay me. Why don't you, instead of paying me, give me equity instead? So I did this. I think I can talk about this. I wrote it's public now. So I wrote an angel check to Gab Wireless, and it was their earliest seed round. Maybe not. I believe it was their seed round. Maybe there was other money that came in before.
Sure, like an angel.
But like stoked on their product, right? Safe tech for kids. I got 8 kids. Of course I'm going to back that, right? So I wrote the check. But then they really wanted us to promote on our social feed because we have a demographic that would love this product. So I said, look, we don't financially need the commission from what you were willing to pay us to sell this product. So what if you take what we earn in commissions and give us equity instead? And they were like, what? I'm like, no, hear me out. You get to keep your money. You have to share your equity, but you get to keep cash. Use it for anything else, other marketing experience, whatever. And they were like, what? And I'm like, look, and it's pay for performance. You don't pay me any equity if I don't sell any product. They were like, just mind blown, right? And I don't think many people have done that before. And I don't think many people have done it since. And I would love to educate both the entrepreneurial world, the business world, and the influencer world that this is a real thing. If you as an influencer are making sufficient income to take care of your family and then some, why not diversify with equity into other businesses? And yes, some won't pan out. That's the risk you take. But so they capped us at $50K. So they said, look, yes, we'll do the commission swap into equity, but we're going to cap you. And I was like, dang it. Because I believe with my wife's influence, we hit that in like 2 months or something. And then we had the rest of the year to continue, and we ended up doing a lot more than that. But they ended up having to pay cash for the other side. And so we ended up getting $75K in the seed round, which I'm stoked about because they have grown significantly since then.
They're doing really well.
20x return possibly if all things can pan out. That's not a bad return.
Not bad at all.
So anyway, I need to create some form of education to help the entrepreneurs know that that's a possibility and help the influencers know that why there's value there.
You know why I like syndicates? I almost like syndicates more than funds. Like I get like the luxury and the safety of a fund. If you're the VC and like the managing partner, right? Like I'm going to get 2 and 20. I can live off the fees. This is really cool. All that type of stuff. What I like about the syndicate is you got to earn each one. And there's a lot more freedom in it. It's like, no, I'm not doing it for the next 6 months. Or I'm not doing it.
And that happened. My first deal was in March.
Yeah.
Second deal is happening this week, 4 months later.
Yeah, you don't have to do it.
Mm-mm.
You don't
And
have to do that.
I've been reviewing deals since then, but I was not willing to take a bullet for any of these deals that I reviewed until this. So it's like, I feel like I can cherry pick only the best. I think sometimes in a fund, you may feel pressure to have to fund something within a certain time frame. I don't love that. Although I'm an LP in a bunch of other funds.
Yeah.
And so can't knock it. But now with syndicates, you do have fees, right?
Yeah.
You have to pay for legal and taxes. So you do charge fees, but it is definitely a different ballgame because it's a eat what you kill kind of on a deal by deal basis. From a lifestyle standpoint, and me putting priority as, God, wife, kids, health, then work, it's beautiful.
Yeah. That's
it is
cool.
Absolutely beautiful.
And Savvy Legal has, not to go back to this, but I think people are going to be interested now.
Sure.
And I love Savvy Legal. In fact, I think they're partners with Silicon Slopes.
Yeah.
And I always like to promote Utah companies. They have like a platform that they built that's similar to like something like AngelList or that other one. That
I wouldn't say it's like AngelList per se. It's they facilitate your ability to create syndicates.
Okay.
So it's purely the legal formation, documentation, signage.
The hard stuff.
It's the stuff that I don't know how to do.
Yeah.
I was literally on the phone with him on the way here, getting the docs prepped for the deal that's closing this week. And I'm like, I don't know what this means. And he's helped me through it. And it is a self-serve platform, but it was great. And especially when Assure kind of went down.
That's the one I was thinking of. Yeah.
And they were like the, King Kong in the space. When they went down, everybody's like, what the heck? What are we going to do? How do we do this? So they've been able to at least pick up some of the pieces from a technology and like paperwork side. The AngelList, obviously, some of their value is that, yes, your investors get spread to a bunch of other people, but there's so many people already there. Some people might come to yours.
Yeah.
Now, for me, investing is all about relationships. So I'm not putting money in anyone that I don't have a relationship with. That's just, for me, seems fundamental. From a venture capital side, like if I'm buying stocks, I don't need to know Elon Musk to buy Tesla.
Yeah.
But if I'm investing in a company or in a fund, I'm going to have a personal relationship.
Yeah.
And so that's but that's like a personal investment thesis.
How are you getting deal flow? Are these like funds sending like, hey, we're going to close on this. Do you want an allocation?
Yeah.
And then, you're getting people like sending you pitch decks or, hey, can we go to lunch? That type of stuff.
Yeah.
See, this is why I could never be a VC. The meetings and the like pitching, I'd be like, no.
See, I love it. I love it.
Yeah. No, it takes, you would love it. Yeah. You're very much like, and you're like, you can give them feedback. If they would ask me like, what do you think? I'm all, I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason why anything works.
It's funny. I really do enjoy hearing pitches, and giving feedback and whether I'm going to invest or not, like I'll still give them feedback, try to make introductions for them, trying to help. Because I think as an entrepreneur, I've been helped so much, especially getting started so young as an entrepreneur. There were so many people who helped me along the way. And any successful entrepreneur would have to admit that there was this slew of people who helped them.
For sure.
Mentors, advisors, whatever. So I feel compelled to help people, whether or not I'm going to invest in their business. Yeah. So LinkedIn's a big one. So, 20,000 followers on LinkedIn helps. And most of them are in this kind of idea.
So they like message you and like, hey, I have this thing? Or?
Many times daily.
Really?
Yeah. So I probably get between 10 and 20
I would
messages
hate that too.
a day. I can't even manage it all. I mean, the reality is I can't manage it all. And most deal flow that comes through LinkedIn, I see 1% of it. If I don't have a personal relationship with that person, unfortunately, I'm just not even going to look at it.
Well, you have a whole company that was like, get a warm intro.
Yeah, I know. Come on.
Yeah, like
if you get a warm intro, that's the key to investors.
Exactly.
Seriously. Because like the founders that I'm funding this week, I didn't know them personally, but I was introduced by somebody I trust. And as I got to know them and got to know their business, it's fantastic, and I love what they're doing. And so I was stoked to write a check, and they're already proving that influencers work with their business, and so it's awesome for me and for them and everything. Mm-hmm. But so LinkedIn produces a lot of deal flow. And then I'm on, because I've been investing and I have multiple deals that I've done, and the word goes very quickly. Mm-hmm. If somebody knows you're an investor, then if somebody's like, you're in, then you're in it. So like I've been invited to the Park City Angels and the Salt Lake City Angels. And, you know, I haven't been networking with those guys. I pitched them back in 2014.
Yeah.
And it felt
I actually didn't know Salt Lake City Angels was still around. They're still around?
I haven't been yet. I was just invited to go.
Cool.
But it's one of those where it felt like it was kind of an old.
Yeah.
I know I'm now old, but like it felt old at the time.
Well, now you got gray hair. They're going to welcome you in.
I guess
like,
that's
hey,
right.
Come on in.
So, you know, there's the entrepreneur network, there's the investor network, the VCs who are seeing deals, and I love those deals that come from them because they've done the due diligence, right?
Mm-hmm.
That I put priority on those deals. And then the relationships of just being around the community. Techstars, I do love seeing Techstars deals. And there's people that I've known in the Y Combinator space for a decade. And so,
what's your sense being in the early stage of Utah, seeing these deals? Like, where are we right now? Is it really, really hot? Is it slowing down? I mean, because you get all these things like the economy, like Joe Biden, Trump, all the type of stuff that, you know, supposedly they're having an effect on us. You're closer to the early stage than I am. Is it pretty active?
Yeah, I would say Utah. Okay, let me start with the caveat. Brad Feld, if you're watching, which he won't be, but if he is, legendary investor.
Yeah, he's
like
great.
One of the most famous, and he helped to start Techstars.
Mm-hmm.
So much respect and knowledge and wisdom. But when I was there in 2014, I said, hey, why doesn't Techstars move to Utah? Like, we should have a Utah office. This would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much going on over in Utah. He was like, Utah will never be a startup ecosystem.
Yeah, I know.
And I was like, looking around. It like broke my heart to say that. And look at us now. We're
only 100 times bigger than Boulder.
Yeah.
Brad. Oh, my word.
I still respect you as a human and as an investor, but that comment I did not respect. And I think we've proven him wrong, right? I mean, Utah has absolutely exploded. So I look at Utah in its current state of, I wouldn't say necessarily infancy, but are we, and we're not a toddler stage either. I would think we're kind of in that preteen phase of our entrepreneurial ecosystem if we're comparing ourselves to California. So
I would compare us probably most to Austin.
Yeah, I could see that.
I think that's probably the closest. Now they have a lot more like established companies that have moved in there, like Oracle and Tesla, and like we don't have a lot of like the big companies moving in there. But from a startup ecosystem, I think it's very. In fact, I actually think our startup ecosystem is a little bit stronger than Austin's. Yeah. But I think that's a comparable.
Well, according to all the awards that Utah's getting, we're supposedly number one in everything.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm biased. I love Utah. I've been here a long time, and I think the startup ecosystem is phenomenal. I think also culturally, from not all, so I don't mean to blanket statement this, but I think most entrepreneurs feel the way I do, that we received help, so therefore we help, and that is really healthy. I do wish that some of the players who have had very large wins would be more involved in the ecosystem, and less far away, less touchable.
Like who? Name names. No,
but I can't blame them fully because, like, look, when you've had life-changing wins that you and 15 generations don't ever have to work again, you want privacy and you want to be able to do your thing and be a part of it. And that's okay. I like my life and I want my family time. But I think there are ways, and there are many who are doing this.
I think Utah, this is why Utah's successful. I think most do it, right? There are some, obviously, that don't do it. But like Silicon Slopes is a good example of that. Like Ryan Smith, Sconard, Josh James, Dave Elkington, these people who had theoretically already made it at that point. Like, let's create this organization. Let's give back. And, build a summit and everything that Silicon Slopes has done, right? Like, credit to them for even being willing to do that. They didn't need to do any of that.
Put their neck on the line.
And what's really interesting, I think, about Utah too, is like those leaders will get in a room together. I don't know that you see Silicon Valley CEOs getting in a room together and talking about how do we grow Silicon Valley?
That's true.
How do we build Silicon Valley the right way? They should have.
Yeah.
It would have been like pretty useful given like what's happening in San Francisco. And by the way, they're still the Mecca, and so like maybe they don't need to do that.
No.
But it's funny. It's funny you mentioned Brad Feld because he wrote a book called Startup Communities. I don't know if you've read it.
Yeah, I've got it.
Yeah, and that is actually the model for Silicon Slopes. And in that book, he says entrepreneurs should lead startup ecosystems, which I always thought was kind of interesting coming from him and Techstars because they're VCs. It's the opposite. There's like this inherent bias, right? And I think one thing that Utah's gotten right is like entrepreneurs really do lead this ecosystem, right? And I think that's really useful. It's really powerful.
Absolutely. Utah will continue to be on fire, and I don't see that slowing down anytime soon. I think right now, this month, and maybe these few next months, from a fundraising standpoint, companies are having a harder time fundraising.
Yeah.
That's just what's happening right now. In the SVB debacle kind of kicked things off a little bit, right? So companies have struggled to raise funding. They're getting either flat rounds or down rounds. So like if we're talking right now in the ecosystem, it is harder for companies. It's better for investors because if you watch Shark Tank and as their valuation goes down, that means the investor gets more of that business. So it's a good time to be on the investor side, and I think it's a correction, maybe where it needed to be. So I don't think it's a bad thing for companies. Obviously, if you raise money at a $300 million valuation and now you're raising at a $50 million valuation, that sucks. Yeah. And people are going to get squished and value is lost. But I think that $300 million was probably too high and in the first place, and that there was a lot of frothy environment that led to that, and it needed to be corrected. So I think it's all part of the structure. I think it needed to happen.
Here's what Influence.vc should, because while you were saying that, I was like, all right, here's what it should do. Obviously, keep doing the syndicate funds. Okay. But it should build a platform to get warm intros to venture funds. Because every VC I've ever talked to, I'll talk to anybody if it comes from a friend or somebody I know. If it's coming out cold, I'm like, how are you? You couldn't find somebody who knows me? Yeah. Like, there you go, man. Outro's back. We just made news on the podcast.
That's the news.
You in particular would be great at that, and in particular, the name Influence.vc would be great at that.
It would be
to kind of facilitate, and it'd be great for your business, right? Because you're not leading rounds anyways, and so what you want is to get the warm intros. That's kind of an interesting. There you go, dude.
Great idea.
There you go.
I love it. Yeah. Now I just need a technical co-founder. Anybody listening?
Call up Dave.
That's right. Dave doesn't code, but he is a genius. So we'll find somebody there. Anyway, this is fun. I mean, the world of entrepreneurship, especially in Utah, it is a haven. It's a really, really good place. Yeah. And I think when you have history, you and I have known each other for a very, very long time. And although we haven't seen each other every week or every month or even quarter, there's a connectedness, I think, that Utah feels because
there's a bond.
There's a bond.
For sure.
And I love that. I love that bond. There's a lot of things we can fix and do better, but I'm definitely proud of Utah. Yeah. There's no question.
Well, it's great to see you, brother, and thank you so much for coming on. And come back when you launch the warm intro platform. Or just come back in general.